Hi and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to give you a sketchbook tour of my 2024 travel sketchbook. This is from the brand Menora. It's about 180 GSM, and I had a lot of learnings through this sketchbook, from understanding how the paper is to how it can hold different kinds of paints and ink. So it started off okay for me, and then it started getting better with every sketch. So this was my first sketch, which I did in January. It was inside Starbucks, and I'm not really happy with how the illustration has come out, because you can see over here how the paint is overlapping the ink work, and it's all got like mixed together, and it's not very good in terms of the use of colors. So there was a lot of understanding of the paper which I got through this first sketch, and immediately I had created this sketch right outside Starbucks. So these two were on the same day, and my learning from this sketch was that this paper cannot really take a lot of layers of watercolors. So I decided to go with a very light layer, not very watery, at the same time not very thick. I think that worked very well in this. The second thing that worked well in this was I didn't use it as a vertical A7. I in fact used it as a double spread, so it became more like an A6. So I felt like I was able to handle this a lot better than this small space. Here's the next one. In terms of memory, this is very special for me. It was 4 months into postpartum, and the first time I stepped out with my baby to a mall all by myself, and I think that was a huge milestone for me. So I met my mom at the mall over there, so it was a small short while that I had to go by myself, but I think for me this is very special. In terms of the illustration, I think I could have done a little better in terms of the line weight to give a little more contrast, but I like the play of these lines over here. So that all of these small things I think works very well on this size. This spread is one of my favorite because I was able to play with the light. I captured it really well over here where there are shadows everywhere else, and this is bright, so I think the contrast works quite well here. And this was another very quick sketch when we were on the way to Pondicherry from Chennai. Again here, there's not much of contrast, so it's very hard to understand what's happening where. So I think those are things that I've been learning when I look back at the sketchbook now. This was at dinner in Oroville, and I love this spread because I love how the table is highlighted because there is color at the back and below the table, so this entire thing just pops out. This was, at that time, I thought this sketch was terrible because I felt like I was drawing after a very long time, and I felt like the way I captured my baby was not very nice, but now I absolutely love this sketch because it's him. And this is another spread at the same restaurant, and I love this spread. Again, I think the play of contrast is what is working very well when you're doing in really small scale sketches. This was at a cafe. It was a garden cafe outdoor. I like this spread. A few things that could have worked much better was probably if I had gone a little more darker here, so everything else could have popped out. But again, I love how it's very flowy. So the pen work is what I think is doing quite well. This was in Mumbai at Cafe Mondegar, one of my favorite places to be in. It's a very chaotic sketch, but I really love it. So I like also writing my thoughts. This spread is where I really liked how their uniform said Mondi's crew. This was at home at the terrace, and I wanted to start sketching in the terrace, and this was just a small scene in front of me that I captured. I'd gone for a movie, Dune 2, and after that we were having dinner and I captured this. So what I like over here is skipping all the details, didn't have to do the eyes. I was still able to capture the action, and I think that is an important thing. So I like this spread for that. Again, memories. I love capturing different memories, playing with the contrast. I love this spread. It's basically a story that I'm going, how We went from here and this box, and then it opens, and what happens when it opens, what's inside the box. So the use of the double spread, I think, is something that I should do a lot more, and I would really recommend everybody who's working on vertical sketchbooks to do this. This, again, I started working on contrast, starting to see how to play with colors, and I have all the primary colors in this, yellow, blue and red, and then a little bit of green. So of course, a lot of more work needs to be done. They don't work so well with each other, but it's still a calm spread because it's more pastely, so that's fine. This was the lunch table at a cafe, and I just loved all these turquoise things over there. This is at one of my favorite cafes near my house called Qua, and this is a very messy, I won't say messy, but it's a lot of details, too many details, and I really like this. If I could have made it better, if I think about it, one way I can make this better is probably by not adding all of the details. Maybe these benches could have been white, or this table could have been left white, or I could have just not colored into these, so there could be some contrast and there's some breathing space. This is a fun memory. It's a very chaotic sketch because of the pen that I used. So I used a Feud pen for this, the Sailor Feud pen, and for a small scale artwork I would not recommend it, because I just wanted to experiment, and that's what I felt. So this one is again, this is a different pen. This is Lamy. Everywhere else it's mostly Lamy that I've used. Here I love the way that I've captured the print of the shirt on this. This is one of my favorite spreads in this page, in the sketchbook, because it's very calming and soothing, and I love how the colors work with each other. And people sketching, I think this year I figured out in 2024 that it's fine for me to do people sketching without doing all the single details of the face, which is what I continued over here. This was a performance happening in Dakshin Chitra, and I loved it. It just took me a few minutes, and since they are dancing and performing, they're not in the same pose for a long time, so you have to capture it like super fast, and I loved the way I captured this. This again, I like this spread. It's a small scene. In this, I started, this was the point where I started removing a lot of details, where I felt like I don't have to capture every single thing which is out there, and just started capturing smaller things out of the scene that I wanted to do. I love this spread as well. Again, I worked in a similar way where I have an object and then I do a background over there. I think these sketches are fast, they're very quick. In this, I experimented with the pink and the blue, and I like it. It's very interesting. I know it can be made better, but right now I think I like the memory of this. This is a very detailed sketch. I ended up capturing everything, every single thing over there, which now in hindsight, I feel like I need not have captured every single thing, so that, a few things could be highlighted. For example, if I did add the lines here in the sofa, I could have skipped these lines here so that this can, stand out a lot more. And this is again at a cafe called Sabko. I love the contrast of how it's my coffee versus my baby's water bottle. And love the contrast in this page. Again, I love this spread. So this was two different sketches. Very few places where I have done sketch on both the pages. Mostly I've just done it like spreads. This is a croissant. I think one of my favorite spreads. What I like is not the croissant, but I like this because I think the play of the white and the color is brilliant on this knife. Started doing people sketching, and these were all very quick sketches. It's okay to not have every single detail. You can leave some things to the imagination, and here I can actually fill these things in my imagination, and I think that works really well. Some more people sketches, people doing different things, different actions. Here I was trying to capture the outside of a cafe. This was again, like, you can see how the progression of the people sketching is happening. I think this is the most refined one so far, also because I think my leg work became better over time, and I still have to work a lot more on my hands, but I think this pose I was able to capture quite well. More people sketching. I love the contrast. I think I should really focus a lot more on the contrast. They were not all wearing a similar thing, but I think there was some thing that was going on, in terms of the color story, where there were shades of blue for everybody. So this versus this, I would always say that this is so much better than a traditional way of capturing it. Here my pen started acting very weird, like it was much darker till before, and here it just started fading away, the color. So it's not as black as I would like it to be. This again, I think I should have done this on a double spread. This was Shiro's Cafe in Agra. I like it. I think my pen black would have been better. I think it still looks good, really nice. I like the depth, I like all the details, but maybe, I could have used a different pen. This was a very funny incident. I didn't know that you cannot try and draw the Taj Mahal. So it was not at Taj Mahal, but it was at a distance somewhere else where you can see it. And this was probably like a few seconds that I captured it, and then I was told that you cannot sketch it. So I just left it like that incomplete. This was in Sri Lanka, one of the fest cafes. We went there, and when I see this, the whole scene just comes to my mind. So there's a lot of details, and I don't regret in this page drawing all the details, because when I travel, I do try to capture a lot of things, because it instantly takes me back to that page, to that place, and what I felt at that moment. This was in another place in Sri Lanka, where at the terrace I was just crawling all over the tables, and it was overlooking a pond. So I like how this spread is. This was when we were relaxing for lunch at a beach. This was the bluest blue sea that I've ever seen, and just I cannot forget it. So my whole idea of this was to highlight this. So I left like some white space over here for the waves when they are crashing into the sand. So I think that helped to pop the water out. This was again another lakefront, and I like that it is a very sober, calm space, and a lot of white space I've left. And I think over the sketches that I've been doing in this sketchbook, my sketches have gotten better. The way I've been using watercolors, I think I've gotten more confident. There are a lot of layers of watercolors in this. This compared to the first few watercolors, I think there's like a lot of difference. So this is what I guess just sketching regularly does. Although this entire book, it took me a year to complete. That was in January, and this was in October. So this was a small trek that we had gone for, and I captured a few details on the peak. There's not much contrast, which is why it's a little hard to decipher what's what, but I think it's sometimes it's okay. Again, in this, I love the way that I capture the trees, but the depth is a little something that's missing. And yes, that's the last sketch. It was till October. I got no sketch done in this book in November and December, but that's about my sketchbook of 2024, and it was a beautiful year, and I'm really glad that I got to sketch so much being a new mom, and I can't wait to create more beautiful sketches in 2025.